The Beach FM Business Lunch Show, brought to you by PlaceMakers Kapiti Horowhenua. Together we're building New Zealand.
Welcome back to the Business Lunch Show on Beach FM 106.3 on your Wednesday afternoon. And let's talk food now. And let's welcome into the show Matt Woodard from the Good Food Society. G'day, Matt.
G'day, mate. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing at this time?
It's another day in paradise.
That's what a lot of people say on the coast. It's a great answer. Mate, how long you been around? How long you been doing your thing on the coast?
So the Good Food Society was set up last year. We had some local friends of ours asked if we would sort of cater a wedding for them. I was a chef professionally between New Zealand and Australia for 13 years before getting out of the kitchen for a couple. And then so we started from there, and then with the power of social media and a few bits of good feedback from people, we grew our business. We sort of ended up turning into event caterers, ended up being wedding caterers and having a number of weddings book throughout summer and things. So yeah, it's been a great little time up until obviously recently with the big changes with the COVID lockdowns, etc.
Indeed, mate. We will get to that for sure. But tell me about the chef experience that you had. Were you in management roles? Like, did you have that business sense before you took on this responsibility with the Good Food Society?
Yeah. So I finished school. I was at Kapiti College, finished school and did my chef training in Kapiti. In the old Lindale complex, and then went into restaurants working in Wellington, and then moved across to Melbourne for a couple of years, and then came back. And then I was running a very busy waterfront bar and restaurant in Wellington. So I suppose I got into a lot more of the management side and seeing a different side of hospitality within those later roles. I'm 35 now, so sort of in my late 20s, I started getting into some of those bigger roles. Working many hours, learning a lot about food in general, and trying to expand my knowledge the best I could.
Amazing. What were some of those early learnings, though? I mean, you have the hospitality experience, your management experience, but now you're kind of responsible for a few more different things. What were some of those early learnings that you had taking on the Good Food Society?
I think a couple of the big things is there's long hours in hospitality. It wasn't unusual for myself and my team in a couple of restaurants to work up to 18-hour shifts. Wow. Just due to what was happening through summer and hundreds of people through the doors, and making sure that you had the canapé functions looked after, you had the brunch team there, and then the night crew come in for your fine dining sort of restaurant experiences. So I suppose that broadened. You were pushed into broadening that skill set, but it all starts with simple things. It all starts with learning knife skills and learning clean as you go, and those little things which help as you move forward, I suppose, and shape you are. When you get older in hospitality, those are those sort of second nature things. You're wiping a bench as you go, and you're tidying things, and you're keeping things nice and neat, and you're learning. I suppose the biggest things when going into your own business is then learning the cost of goods, the costs associated, the margins, and trying to make some money, because hospitality, it's a really fickle industry. It's very competitive, and so you need to be putting out the best product you can for the best, I suppose, the dollar amount that you can that people are willing to pay the value of. So yeah, there's a few little things there which you learn, but you've got to fail to learn a few times as well. So. A lot of little things contribute to a lot of big things.
Well said, my man. Well said. Hey, a lot of stories that we've had over the past 6 weeks is people setting up and having that, community feel where it takes a village to help you along your track, kind of thing. Did you have any of those mentors? Any people that you relied on for advice or mentorship?
I think my dad and my father-in-law are actually two
Awesome.
Very successful people within business, and we called them quite often when issues had arisen. I mean, we're still very new within having our own business as such, whereas we relied on people that have had the links within industries of all sorts of things, so that we could learn things about how account systems work, how delivery aspects and things work, and trying to get our head around, because there's obviously so much legislation these days, and so it's trying to make sure we do the right thing. And so, yeah, obviously my dad and father-in-law, but then obviously a lot of people who have got that we friends and family that have had that link in any industry. We were just really appreciative to get any advice and direction on all sorts of stuff to make us better at what we do.
Brilliant. And pre-COVID-19, mate, you talk about weddings and stuff. What was your the main go-to with the product that you were producing?
So it's really cool with what we do, because we're mobile event caterers. We turn up with we've got a couple of barbecue trailers that we turn up to events, and we do anything from canapes through to sit-down dinners and buffets and things. And a lot of them would be set menus, 2 meats, 3 or 4 sides, depending on people's preferences. Or if it was canapes and things, we let the people choose. I mean, given we're not restricted in what we do, so every single event we've ever done has always been a little bit different, because this particular event there's a few more vegans, or that particular event they don't like pork, or between a married couple, one doesn't like this or one likes that. So every single time it's tailored, and we chop and change to suit the client the best we can. And we found that they're a lot more relaxed about it. It makes the whole event vibe a little bit more relaxed, because everything is sort of to a point of what they're after. And we become, with our trailers, I mean, we use a lot of Feijoa wood, which we get out of an orchard in Levin, and it gives quite a cool little smoke on the product that we're cooking. And people always want to come and have a look in the smokers, see what's cooking. Kids love looking in the firebox and looking at the fire, and it's really cool, because then we become part of the event. So we sort of get treated like family, and it's like, oh, we can sit down with people and have a feed. Someone would like, oh, come have a beer with us. So it's quite cool, and it's a cool family sort of environment, which we're really fortunate to be a part of.
Well, I mean, without you, those events fall pretty flat. Mate, let's talk about COVID. How were you guys affected by this pandemic?
It was massive. Like, I mean, I think the week after the lockdown, we had a group of 60 that said, look, we can't. And then it was just wedding after wedding after wedding. And the tough thing was, excuse me, a lot of them cancelled completely. And I've heard some horror stories about some caterers and people not giving deposits back. And I was like, I can't, there's just no way. And so we paid everyone's deposits back. At the same time, we were getting our new big smoker built, and a guy was building it from his house, from his business address at his house. And so that was still moving forward, and all the deposits for these weddings were disappearing. So it became quite tough trying to work out how we were going to pay for the new smoker that we needed to cater those weddings, which had now cancelled. We've been really lucky, and we've had 2 of those weddings have now rebooked with us, and they postponed, so we're able to hold on to the deposits and help out a little bit. But it was a massive change, because we went from 5 or 6 weddings booked in to everyone cancelling, and the nice amount of little money we had in the bank to help grow and reinvest in our business was gone. So yeah, big change.
Indeed, mate. Were you guys looked after by government funding, etc.?
Yes, we were. We were able to claim a wage subsidy, but which is great. It covers a wage, but it doesn't cover obviously overheads, and it doesn't cover product and things like that. So we played around with things the best we could, and then I suppose the people out there that are willing to probably take a risk and adapt are the ones that are riding this out a little bit more. And I think that's where we had to start to adapt a bit. And so we started doing deliveries, and which has been really cool. Once the lockdown levels changed and we were allowed to, we then were using some of the meats that we were cooking. So for argument's sake, at the moment we're doing a half rack or full rack of pork ribs that we source out of America. Then we're using Wagyu brisket out of the Hawke's Bay. We're using Silver Fern Farms grass-fed beef for some of our pulled beef, and there's pulled pork, and we're making a duck and pork pate. And so we've been delivering those. I was just doing around Kapiti and Wellington. And then we teamed up with Ben's Buns down on McLean Street because everyone was struggling. And I said, look, if I'm doing some deliveries of some pate and some pulled meats, why don't we match that with some burger buns and some of your sourdough? So we started delivering some of the product of his, which is really cool because we were trying to be out there and support local, because we understood that we were struggling, but we knew everyone out there in that hospitality world was struggling too and losing substantial income, which was needed. And we're quite lucky that this week we've teamed up with a local courier company, X Couriers, who are delivering from Palmerston North through to Wellington and the Hutt Valley every day. So we're managing to get our product out there further. It's been huge for the communities that are supporting us and getting our product and that have ordered week in, week out, which has been really, really cool. The things I get excited about the most is the people, I have complete randoms that are coming up on going onto our website or to social media and having a look and purchasing something and helping us stay in business for that little bit longer through something which is a really, really tough time. So it's really cool to see people banding together in tough times to help people succeed.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you helping me out today to spread your good word. Lastly, mate, where can the people find you and how can they get in touch?
So people can get in touch with us if you are on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, just under The Good Food Society, or at www.thegoodfoodsociety.co.nz, and you'll be able to see a bit of what we do. If you're in Kapiti and you're ordering things, you get to see my smiling face on the deliveries on the Fridays.
Brilliant, Matt. Well, thank you so much for your time to share the story today. Go well, my friend, and I will definitely be hitting you up shortly.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.